Hello there, you're watching Nightline. I'm Anita Wu. News making the headlines. Government sets up committee to decide on teaching mathematics and science in English. And Mazze Khalid faces intense pressure from Datin Sri Rosmah over solar hybrid project. Our opening story. The Prime Minister on Thursday stressed that a cabinet committee set up to study the proposal of teaching mathematics and science in English will decide on its implementation after getting various feedback. Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said among those welcome to give their input are the public, media, teachers, parents and students. The Prime Minister said he was briefing Education Ministry officials recently, and it was reported that a decision had been made on the matter, while the fact was the government is still considering the proposal. And today, the acting Education Minister explained the delay in the implementation.
No, he has not decided yet.
When are you going to bring up the matter to cabinet?
Well, we have a small committee set up to find out, because apparently among the public, there are very strong proponents for the teaching of science in Malay, science and math in Malay, while there are also strong proponents for the teaching of science and math in English.
The Prime Minister, who's acting Education Minister, was speaking to the media after addressing ministry staff at the Putrajaya International Convention Centre today. He pointed out that every day there are new words coined in English, hence both subjects should be taught in English.
It is important that they learn science and math in English, because every day we are coming up with new words coined in English. For example, artificial intelligence. In Bahasa Malaysia is what?
Kecerdasan buatan.
Huh?
Kecerdasan buatan.
I can't.
Kecerdasan buatan.
Kecerdasan buatan.
In 2003, under Tun Dr. Mahathir's first tenure as Prime Minister, the policy was introduced in phases, beginning with Year 1, Form 1 and Lower 6 students. Its reversal was made in 2009, and in 2011, it was announced that students who have started learning science and maths in English would continue to do so until they completed their studies in Form 5. In 2013, the policy was completely abolished. At the media conference, the Prime Minister was asked to comment on corruption allegations involving budget airline AirAsia and Airbus. He said that asking for an offset in a business transaction is normal practice, provided the money is not pocketed.
Umpamanya kalau kita beli kapal terbang, kita minta offset. Sama ada kita anggap offset itu sebagai bribery or not, that is up to you lah. Jadi kalau duit yang kita dapat itu masuk poket kita, itu rasuah lah. Tetapi kalau duit itu adalah untuk tujuan tertentu, dia offset. Dia menjadi offset, bukan rasuah. That's my view.
Reports citing legal documents allege that Airbus paid $50 million and offered $55 million more to sponsor a sports team linked to two unnamed key decision-makers at AirAsia and AirAsia X. The documents are part of a multi-billion-dollar settlement reached with anti-graft authorities in Britain, France and the US after the European plane maker admitted to bribery in its international business. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, and the Securities Commission, SC, are both probing the matter. The Prime Minister also said that opposition parties wanting to work with him can do so, provided they support him. Acknowledging there are talks that UMNO and even PAS wanting to work with him, Tun Dr. Mahathir said they should support what is good, done by the Pakatan Harapan government.
Yeah, they are saying that I'm no even PAS willing to work with me. I told them, you want to work with me, you just support lah.
So you welcome their support?
Anybody supporting me, I feel like floating. In Parliament.
Especially in Parliament?
Yeah, in Parliament, when we do something right, I think they should support, not just oppose blindly.
The Prime Minister, who is acting Education Minister, was speaking to the media after addressing ministry staff at the Putrajaya International Convention Centre on Thursday. The Pakatan Harapan chairman was commenting on reports that UMNO President Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi had purportedly said the party must work with Tun Dr Mahathir because PAS is doing so. Earlier, PAS had openly supported Tun Dr Mahathir to remain as Prime Minister until the end of his term. The Datuk Seri Rosmah Mansor Graft trial. The personal driver for a company managing director implicated in Datuk Seri Rosmah's graft trial told the court that he carried 2 backpacks filled with cash into her house. Shamsul Rizal Sharbini said that Saidi Abang Samsudin, who is Jepat Holdings Sdn Berhad's managing director, had told him to purchase the backpacks after dropping him off at the Medan Tuanku Maybank branch. Testifying at the Kuala Lumpur High Court on Thursday, Shamsul, who is the 4th witness, said that after purchasing the bags, he went back to the Maybank branch and was instructed to bring the bags inside. At the bank, he said Saidi told him to put bundles of cash in 100 ringgit note denominations into the 2 bags. He, however, did not count the money. Shamsul said that the duo then drove to a mall and picked up Saidi's business partner, Ryan Razwil Abdullah, before heading towards the house in Jalan Langgat Duta. He also revealed that Datin Sri Rosmah's aide, Datuk Rizal Mansor, was at the house when they arrived. Shamsul said he then placed the 2 backpacks on a green sofa. He added that the incident happened in 2017 but could not remember the exact time and date. During cross-examination, Defence Counsel Datuk Akberdin Abdul Kadir asked about the colour of the backpacks Shamsul had carried. Shamsul replied he carried black backpacks with orange linings. Datin Sri Rosmah claimed trial to 2 charges of graft involving 187.5 million ringgit related to projects to provide electricity to schools in Sarawak. The proceedings then continued with 5th witness Datuk Sri Mazir Khalid giving his statement. The former Education Minister testified that he was subjected to intense pressure from Datin Sri Rosmah Mansor, who was part of Team Saidi, to approve the Jepat Holdings Sdn Berhad solar hybrid project in Sarawak. He said apart from Datin Sri Rosmah, Team Saidi consisted of Jepat Holdings Managing Director Saidi Abang Samsudin, Datuk Rizal Mansor and Azmi Abu Talib. The court heard that Datin Sri Rosmah had shown a keen interest in the Jepat Holdings solar hybrid project. Datuk Sri Mazir revealed that he was told to seriously look into the Jepat proposal by Datin Sri Rosmah when he attended a Breaking a Fast event at the Prime Minister's official residence in Putrajaya on June 23, 2016. He said since Datin Sri Rosmah herself had spoken to him about the matter, he felt he needed to take it seriously, as she was the wife of the then Prime Minister, who was influential and wielded authority. The Padang Terap MP also told the court that he received an instruction to award Jepat Holdings the solar hybrid project from Datuk Sri Najib on December 16, 2015. He said the former Prime Minister had written notes on Jepat Holdings in a letter to him dated November 23, 2015, asking him to implement the new system and cancel the old system. The notes also had Datuk Sri Najib's signature on them. He said that the pressure to approve the solar hybrid project proposal followed soon after that, when Saidi's business partner, Ryan Razwil Abdullah, started pressuring him for the solar hybrid project to be given to Jepat Holdings, in which Datuk Sri Mazir responded by saying that he had to follow the administrative process and wait for feedback from the Education Ministry's officers. Datuk Sri Mazir also revealed that Ryan had threatened him as he did not follow Datuk Sri Najib's orders. He said Jepat Holdings was still unhappy despite getting the approval to carry out a pilot project for 16 schools in Muka and Daro districts, as well as 12 schools in the Baram district. The court then heard that Datin Sri Rosmah's former aide, Datuk Rizal Mansor, contacted Datuk Sri Mazir in May 2016 to question his move of only giving a pilot project to Jepat Holdings when Datuk Sri Najib had given instructions to cancel the old system to be replaced with a new system. Datuk Sri Mazir said Datuk Rizal also told him that Datuk Sri Najib had made the decision and that Mam also knew about the solar hybrid project. He added that he knew Mam was referring to Datin Sri Rosmah. Datuk Sri Mazir also said around June 2016 he had told Datuk Sri Najib to use the open tender process instead of a direct negotiation to ensure that there was fair competition and the delivery of an efficient service. However, he said Datuk Sri Najib insisted that he carry out his instructions. Datuk Sri Mazir also told the court that he then received a letter dated November 6, 2016 with instructions from Datuk Sri Najib asking him to issue a letter of award or LOA as soon as possible. The trial continues before High Court Judge Justice Muhammad Zaini Mazlan on Monday. Malaysia reported its first local human-to-human novel coronavirus transmission on Thursday. Health Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said a 40-year-old woman in Kedah contracted the disease from her brother, the 41-year-old man from Selangor, who had earlier tested positive for the virus.
Adiknya ini kita nak istilahkan sebagai the first Malaysian transmitted local case. Tapi adiknya ini dapat daripada abangnya ketika adiknya dikatakan memandu abangnya dan abangnya tidak observe facial mask dan sebagainya.
The woman has been warded at the Hospital Sultanah Bahia in Alustar after she tested positive on Wednesday. At the media conference, the health minister also disclosed that another patient was also tested positive for the virus, bringing the total number of infections in the country to 14. The second new case traced in Kuala Lumpur was a 35-year-old Chinese tourist from Wuhan who entered the country in January 25th with 4 others. After visiting several tourist locations in Kuala Lumpur, she experienced a low-grade fever where she was given outpatient treatment at the Kuala Lumpur hospital and was told to self-quarantine. However, her condition did not improve and was admitted to the Kuala Lumpur hospital yesterday, where she tested positive. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli confirmed that the Canadian girl who collapsed in KLCC is not a novel coronavirus 2019 nCoV case.
Berita baiknya adalah beliau didapati negatif. Discharge also. Beliau telah di-discharge dan tak ada kena dengan coronavirus.
The teen had collapsed at KLCC and was then treated at a medical centre near the shopping centre. She was subsequently transferred in an ambulance by medical officers in hazmat suits to the Kuala Lumpur hospital. The incident had caused some panic after posts on social media claimed the girl was suspected of being infected with the novel coronavirus. The girl had arrived from Indonesia on Tuesday with her family, who are holidaying in the country. They have been residing in Shanghai, China for the past 15 years. Meanwhile, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail said the government is prepared to bring the remaining 34 Malaysians in Wuhan home. She said the repatriation process will take place as soon as the Chinese government retracts its travelling restriction in the province. Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah, who is also the chairwoman of the National Disaster Management Agency, or NADMA, added that as of 8 p.m. on Thursday, 10 non-essential staff of the Foreign Ministry had arrived home from Guangzhou. They had been taken for screening procedures and had been allowed to return to their respective homes. Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah said the remaining 212 non-essential staff will be brought home soon. The Deputy Prime Minister earlier chaired a special high-level novel coronavirus coordination meeting. The Finance Minister, in the meantime, said Malaysia is not facing any risk of recession, despite the government's plan to expedite the introduction of the planned economic stimulus package. Lim Guan Eng said the package, to be unveiled soon following the outbreak of the virus, was more to ensure sustainable economic growth.
There's no risk of recession for Malaysia. But I think all we want is to ensure sustainable economic growth. Kita akan buat dalam tempoh masa yang terdekat dan itu notis ini akan dihantar dan dikeluarkan. Tapi kita nak dapat input terutama sekali daripada sektor yang terjejas paling teruklah.
He was speaking to reporters after witnessing the signing of a new project funding agreement by the federal government, Sarawak State Government and Dana Infra Nasional Berhad for the Sarawak portion of the Pan-Borneo Highway and a mutual termination letter to cancel the earlier project funding agreement in Putrajaya on Thursday. While not disclosing when the package would be announced, he said a meeting would be held with the most affected sectors in order to gather input. When asked whether the stimulus package would include rebates on tax and electricity bills, Lim said all factors will be considered and taken into account. The Malaysian Association of Tour and Travel Agents, MATA, hopes the government will introduce an even bigger economic stimulus package to assist sectors affected by the 2019 novel coronavirus outbreak. In 2003, the government rolled out an 8.1 billion ringgit economic package to help Malaysians mitigate the impact of the severe acute respiratory syndrome SARS outbreak, and in 2009, it announced a 60 billion ringgit stimulus package in face of the global economic downturn.
This package must obviously be much bigger, and simply because of the cost of inflation, and our economy and tourism industry has grown much bigger. In 2003, we recorded 10.58 million foreign tourists and earned ringgit Malaysia 21.3 billion tourism receipts. For 2020, we are targeting 30 million tourists with 100 million tourism receipts. So obviously, we expect this stimulus package to be much bigger.
Among proposed measures to boost tourism included increasing promotion and marketing initiatives for domestic and inbound tourism, easing the requirements for matching grants under Galakkan Melancong Malaysia, and review on the tourism tax rate. He also urged various ministries to reduce or waive contributions and taxes, such as those mandatory for the Employers' Provident Fund, EPF, Human Resources Development Fund, tourism tax, road tax, and fees for various company licenses and vehicle permits. The tourism industry employs more than 3.5 million people, or 23.5% of total employment. Meanwhile, the death toll and number of people infected by the Wuhan coronavirus continues to grow, with no signs of slowing despite severe quarantine and population control methods put in place in central China. The number of confirmed cases globally stood at 28,256 as of Thursday morning, with more than 28,000 of those in China. There have been 563 deaths so far, all but 2 of which were in China, with 1 in the Philippines and 1 in Hong Kong, who announced a mandatory 14-day quarantine for all people entering the semi-autonomous city from the Chinese mainland, including residents. The move comes after all but 3 border crossings in Hong Kong were closed to try and contain the virus. It is expected that the measure will further reduce cross-boundary flow of people between Hong Kong and the mainland, thus reducing the risk of transmission and spreading the disease in the community. Still to come on Nightline, touch-and-go RFID tags to cost 35 ringgit soon. Stay tuned. Now, before we wrap up this edition of Nightline, let's have a quick look at what's been installed on the front pages awaiting you on Malaysia's main newspapers on Friday, February 7th. The New Straits Times highlights the government's plan of shared prosperity in the Malaysian education system, whereas the nation's best-selling Malay daily, Harian Metro, puts a report of Datin Sri Rosmah's Graft trial, which a witness says he delivered 2 bags of cash to her house. And Berita Harian shares the aspiration of Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad on the Malaysian education system, which includes the reintroduction of teaching mathematics and science in English. And the Malaysian Reserve focuses on a report on how tax rebates and EPF contribution rate cuts can help cushion the coronavirus impact. Do get your copies today.